Swami Shri Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Se Ghosh Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna, Shri Rasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Shyam Radha Kuri Avadhan ki, Shri Krishna Gandhi Bhakti Devi ki, Naam ki, Naam ki, Shri Naam Shri Radha Chandra ki, Shri Radha Chandra ki, Shri Jagannath Shri Shri Gorninath Naam Sankirtan Gaur Premanandai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Samaveta Shri Prabhupada ki Krishna Namaste Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vivishesha Shivani Paschati Veshitarani. Did you wake up that sleeping soul? Mahananda.
He didn't imagine it. He slept at night today. He's down. He slept at night.
He slept at night or he didn't sleep? He did sleep.
He's out.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Virayet Nashkapraeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatityuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam 7:11, right? 7:11. 7:11:15. 7:11:15. 15 and 16. 15 has no purport. Okay. Vaishyastu Varta Vrittisyam Nityam Brahmakulangaha. Hare Krishna. Can you hear from this? Shudrasya Dvija Shushusha Vritishcha Swamino Bhavet. Translation: the mercantile community should always follow the direction of the Brahmanas and engage in occupational duties as agriculture, trade, and protection of cows. For the Shudras, the only duty is to accept a master from a higher social order and engage in his service. Varta Vichitra Shalina Yaya Vara Shilonchanam Vikratish Chatur Dheyam Shreyasi Chottarottara Padapataha Varta. The occupational means of livelihood for the Vaishya: agriculture, cow protection, and trade. Vichitra, various types. Shalina, livelihood achieved without effort. Yayavara, going to the field to beg some paddy. Sheila, picking up the grains left in the field by the proprietor. Unchanam, picking up the grains that have fallen from bags and shops. Vipravritihi, the means of livelihood for the Brahmanas. Chaturdha, four different kinds. Yam, this. Shreyasi, better. Cha, and also. Sorry, cha, also. Uttar, uttara. The latter compared to the former. Translation: as an alternative, a Brahmana may also take to the Vaishya's occupational duty of agriculture, cow protection, or trade. He may depend on that which he has received without begging. He may beg in the paddy field every day. He may collect paddy left in the field by the proprietor, or he may collect food grains left here and there in the shops of grain dealers. These are the four means of livelihood that may also be adopted by the Brahmanas. Among these four, each of them in succession is better than the one preceding. Purport: a Brahmana is sometimes offered land and cows in charity, and thus for his livelihood he may act in the same way as a Vaishya. By cultivating land, giving protection to the cows, sorry, see now. Brahmana is sometimes afforded land and cows in charity, and thus for his livelihood he may act in the same way as a Vaishya by cultivating land, giving protection to cows, and trading off his surpluses. A better process, however, is to pick up grains from a field or from a dealer's shop without begging. Yeah. So we should open it. Yeah. Right. I think fall asleep. Yeah, something is wrong. Now it's not something wrong. That's me. That's that. You have to hold it. Now let go. Hold it. Be careful. So there are two verses here. One talks about the Vaishyas and how they should follow the Brahmanas and engage. The Brahmanas do not tell them to do something wrong. The Brahmanas don't give bad directions. Like the Brahmanas tell you don't wear your beads when you're listening to the lecture. How can you chant and listen? You just like to hold them. So, but the Brahmanas are supposed to instruct Vaishyas. Actually, Vaishyas don't have time to study Shastras. This is the thing. Because they're busy trading. I went to Hyderabad recently in October. Before that, I went in November of 2018. And I was walking in the grain market, and I met a Brahmin by caste who had a grain shop. So he was just like it's described here. He had taken the occupation of a Vaishya. Now this system of Brahmana by caste, by birth in a family of Brahmanas, is very ancient. It's very old. And Prabhupada said family tradition is good. So Prabhupada didn't condemn the whole system. What he and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur considered was that there weren't enough Brahmanas who were really dedicated to the principles of Brahminical culture. And therefore, there was a need to have more Brahmanas. Now, there are still many Brahmanas. So somebody would say that, and many people don't agree with Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta. They don't agree with them. So we have to see. It's pretty easy to understand now with modern education. Really, Brahmana means he had a Vedic education. He studied the Vedas, he studied the Vedangas, and it's not that he had a written test. There were oral tests, and they had to know all the mantras. And it's not easy. In Sanskrit, there's a phrase to describe a Brahmana who studied the Vedas. Krita Parishramaha. You heard this? That means he undertook the trouble. Parishrama means, Shrama is labor. Parishrama, much labor. Krita did. So in the childhood, a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Krishna, and Balaram, Sudama, Agnimire, and then they would have to repeat that twice. Agnimire, Agnimire, Purohitam, Purohitam, Yajnasya Deva, Yajnasya Deva, Yajnasya Deva. Now this is only part of one mantra, and there are 10,000 mantras of the Rig Veda. So some Rigvedis were there, some Yajurvedis, some Samavedis, and some Atharvavedis. And whenever there was a sacrifice, a yajna, certain part of the sacrifice mantras from a certain Veda had to be recited at a certain time. And there were priests that were in charge of the sacrifices. Hota, Arvaryu, Brahma. I remember 3 out of the 4. Anybody remember the 4th? No. So these were the priests who were in charge of each Veda recitation when in the yajna the Veda should be recited. That is the Brahmana. Patana Patana, study and teaching. Yajana Yajana, performing sacrifices and getting sacrifices performed by others. Dana, giving in charity, and Pratigraha, taking charity. So these things are considered here in these verses. Sometimes a Brahmana he might have studied Vedas like Ajamil. If you read the story, the Ajamil story carefully, he studied the Vedas. He was a Brahmana. He memorized one of the 4 Vedas, we believe. And after that, he entered the Grihastha ashram. And it says he had a nice wife, and yet when he saw a low-class woman embracing a low-class man, he became attracted to her. He gave up Brahminical culture, and he became a thief, a rogue, and all kinds of bad things. So, the tradition was, and it was very much a part of the social fabric of Bharata. Everyone studied Vedas. Everyone means Brahmana family. If you were born in a Brahmana family, if you were born in a Kshatriya family. Krishna and Balaram were apparently, of course it was their own sweet will, but they appeared as Kshatriyas. Devaki and Vasudeva were Kshatriyas. And Nanda and Yashoda were Vaishyas. So the Kshatriyas also studied the Veda and the Vaishyas also studied the Veda. So those who did not study the Veda, who were born in a Brahmin, Kshatriya and Vaishya family, what were they called? Dvija Bandhu, friends of the twice born. Bhagavatam says that Stri, women, Shudra, the labor class, and Dvija Bandhus, they are not fit for studying the Vedas. So this was a tradition. If you were born in a Shudra family, you would not study the Vedas. There were many castes of Shudras in India, and they were the majority. The Brahmanas are less in number, and the Kshatriyas are also less in number, and the Vaishyas are also less in number, but the Shudras were the majority of the population. And there were different communities, like the carpenters, the iron workers. What did the iron workers do? They didn't work in a car factory, right? Iron workers were part of the village industry. And what did they do? They made the shoes for the animals, like the cow, bulls, who pulled the carts. Not all the cows didn't have shoes, only the bulls that pulled the carts, and horses. Elephants, there's no question of putting a shoe on an elephant. They'll kill you. They'll kill you. But elephants were also part of the workforce. So there were different castes. There were even castes of people who used to go up on the tree and take the juice of the palm trees. And in Bengal they have that date gur. What is it called? Khajur gur. And so there were many different castes. The barber caste, the potter caste, they used to make the clay pots. Nobody ate on stainless steel or plastic. There was no plastic. Stainless steel and iron were considered low class. Some people ate on a conglomeration of metals. Ashta dhatu, pancha dhatu, dhatu means metal. Ashta is 8, pancha is 5. Or leaves. So there were some Shudras, their business was to collect leaves in the forest and stitch them together and make the plates. Those plates used to be very cheap. But with the industrial economy, those plates have become expensive. And in South India and East India, everyone eats off of a banana leaf. It's funny that here people have a lot of banana growing areas. People don't eat on the banana leaves. They don't cook the parts of the banana tree. In Bengal and in South India, they cook the banana flour. So the Vaishyas were looking after agriculture, but the Vaishyas could not do all the work themselves. They need labor. So the Shudras performed the labor. And those Shudras did not own anything. They were extremely poor people. So modern Western liberal ideology says that that's unfair. That's wrong. They were exploited. Now, the Vedic concept is that they were not exploited. How is that? Because Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita ma gridha kasya svidhanam. Do not hoard wealth. Vaishyas did not hoard the wealth, they spent the money. But not on luxury bungalows for themselves. They would make dharmashalas, wells, and they would give charity to brahmanas. So that was a Vedic system. If you gave charity to brahmanas, they would bless you. And the brahmanas were supposed to have power. But what power? The power, tejas. Tejas is the word power. Brahma tejas, the power of being brahmana. The mantras had power. But now we don't see that power. We say it's Kali Yuga, so they lost the power. Pronunciation has to be perfect. Pronunciation is not perfect. Like that. Like that. Yada yada hi dharmasya. No, you won't hear that. So, and we are bored by hearing those mantras also. Yada yada hi dharma. And I want to come and hear this also. So, the Brahminical life was like that. Brahmanas would spend the day memorizing mantras or teaching mantras or performing yagnas. Krishna and Balaram went to the forest and got caught in a storm. Everyone knows the story. Why were they in the forest? Who can tell me? Collecting firewood for yagna. Well, maybe it was cold and they wanted to keep warm. Cooking also. Cooking was done by wood and cow dung. Yeah, no gas cylinder. No, what is it, 23 years ago? 23 years ago, I went to Gangotri. How many people went to Gangotri? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from Rishikesh, when you go to Gangotri, there's a place called Uttar Kashi, North Banaras. You heard of that? Uttar Kashi. 23 years ago, 1997, we stayed overnight in Uttar Kashi on the way to Gangotri in an ashram. Mayavadi ashram, but we weren't there for philosophy. We were there for spending the night. And I remember seeing somebody carrying a gas cylinder up the hill. If you know Uttar Kashi, and the Ganga comes from Gangotri in the valley, and there are big hills. I was surprised that he's carrying up the hill a gas cylinder. That wasn't the system. The system was to go out and collect wood. Or if there was a cow, we would make cow dung gomaya. And that cooking was, these things purified the atmosphere. Prabhupada said that the best cooking fuel is cow dung. Prabhupada said that. But the whole Vedic culture knows that. If you take a train in North India, or if you go in the villages, you'll see big stacks of cow dung, and they make it into a waterproof type of a, looks like a structure, looks like a room, but it's all just cow dung for cooking. It's all for cooking. Now they made this, artificial system of gas cylinders and gas pipelines. For cities, city life, they don't want the simple agrarian life. That was the system. Prabhupada said the ideal system is the Indian village system. Now there's a crisis, economic crisis, economy is stopped. Yesterday we had a meeting, 28 devotees, from 11 to 1, Zoom. We are technologically advanced. Jayapataka Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Hridaya Chaitanya Prabhu, and so many other devotees. And there's a minister, global ISKCON minister for cow protection, Kalakanta Prabhu. He lives in Mayapur. You know him? He's from Brazil. And he was saying that we should have, every temple should have 1 year food grains in a storehouse. 1 year. We need food security. Now, apparently, Vrindavan has grown a lot of wheat. Vrindavan has, I don't know what was it, 30 tons of wheat. This was, somebody mentioned this. Vrindavan has 30 tons, or I can't remember, huge amount of wheat. Maybe it's 100 tons of it. So, but the thing is that Vrindavan is not going to be able to send that wheat out when there's a crisis like what is going on now. How will they send the wheat? Every temple has to have this food security. That was one of the topics, the first main topic. Second one was financial security. That now Mayapur is crying. There's no money. How will they need 20 lakhs of rupees to worship the deities every month? That's too much. And there was no suggestion from anyone in the meeting how Mayapur will get this 20 lakhs. There was no suggestion. So Mayapur is at the mercy of Radha Madhava and the Ashtasakhi. And they will have to do something. Because the devotees in India and the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust, the Mayapur Administrative Council asked the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust, they wrote a letter. Prabhupada created the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust in case ISKCON collapsed. What happened to the Gaudiya Math? It collapsed. Right? So in case ISKCON collapsed, the Mayapur Vrindavan Trust would have money. Prabhupada gave that trust his personal money. Some lakhs of rupees, I don't know the exact amount of money, in 1977, in his last will. And so, the purpose of the trust, if the puja cannot go on, in Mayapur and Vrindavan, the trust will supply the money. So now the puja cannot go on, as per, actually we need 32 lakhs, they said, per month. 32 lakhs. That's our whole temple budget times 2. Just for worshipping the deities. Now, the deity worship can be done very simply. Instead of making expensive garlands, you can make a very simple garland. You know, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Krishna says, offer me a leaf, a tulasi leaf. You know, instead of all these expensive offerings, they can just worship Shali Rama with a tulsi and, one flower and water. They don't have to make all these elaborate offerings. I mean, if there's no money, what can you do? This is my personal opinion. This is not what Prabhupada taught. But if there's a crisis, if you cannot get the things, then what can you do? So then at that time you can remember Patra Pushpa. Yeah. Actually, these institutions are not mandated by Krishna. They weren't mandated by. But because it's Kali Yuga, these institutions are meant to spread the teachings of Shastras. But the old system was Brahmanas used to teach Shastras to the public. That's Krishna's system. Chatur Varna Maya Shishna. Yesterday I gave a lecture over the telephone to devotees in the United States, Miami. Actually, it's an alternative temple, because the official temple, there's a problem. There's only 3 devotees in the temple. This is our property, and you can't come in. Mentality. So there's another group, so they're officially recognized by the GBC. They're called ISKCON Miami Outreach. And they ask me to give a lecture now and then. They want me to give once a week, but I don't know. So anyway, we had first canto, second chapter, third verse. 1, 2, 3. Easy to remember. So there also it says, study the Vedas. Akila Shruti. There, Shukadeva understood all the Vedas. He was a Paramahamsa. He didn't take the Brahmin thread. His father ran after him when he was born, crying, "You didn't have the Yaganopaveet Sanskar." You know this story? It's in the Bible. It's on the first canto. One verse is not the whole story. One verse is not the whole story. Because Brahmana's son should, and Sukadeva didn't want to be born. Why? He was in the womb of his mother for 16 years. No baby stays in the womb of the mother for 16 years. But he heard Shastras, he heard Vedas from Vyas, and he heard Upanishads and Adhyatma. The word Adhyatma is there in the 1, 2, 3. Adhyatma, spiritual. And so there was some question at the end. Devotees are saying that there should be women gurus. Question was put. Knowingly, he knew. So I said, no, forget that. Devotees are saying Varnashram is nonsense. How can, when Krishna says in Gita, I created the Varnashram, today's verse is about the Varnashram. Brahmanas and Vaishyas. And devotees are saying, if you will destroy your life if you get into Varnashram. Mess up your life. Yeah. GBC Global Minister, co-minister for congregational development, says he's giving seminars how to mess up your life with Varnashram. In other words, Varnashram is nonsense. Varnashram is the caste system. It is the caste system. It is the caste system. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavatam purports, according to castes, uses the word caste. The British vilified the Varnashram system. When the British were ruling India, and even before them the Muslims, they're against the Varnashram system, therefore they're called Mlecchas and Yavanas. They eat meat, they drink alcohol, and they say the Varnashram system is nonsense. So somebody doesn't drink meat and doesn't eat meat and doesn't drink alcohol, and he says Varnashram is nonsense. And he has a tilak and a secret. How can he say like that? Now, it was by birth alone. So Prabhupada said, no, we don't accept that. But we accept that the system exists. There has to be, what is it called in Hindi? Samanjas. What is that in English? Samanjas?
One side.
You have to understand both of the things. That there was a system of being born into a particular family and following family tradition. And at the same time, there is a possibility of progressing beyond the family you were born in if you had the qualities and if you had the inclination. So I mentioned, I think yesterday night I mentioned. I was in Hyderabad, and one boy, Prabhupada came from Delhi, to Hyderabad in December 1976. And 1 week he stayed in the temple in the city, and 1 week he stayed in the farm. And that week I went away to Nagpur. That's another story. But he brought one boy from the Gurukul in Vrindavan. He couldn't study. So he said, "You are a Shudra, work on the farm." Yeah. Prabhupada said that. If you cannot study, if you're not interested in Vedas and Puranas, and political patana, yajana type of life, work on the farm. So food security, part of that is to establish farm communities. We have not done that. We have not, by and large. There are a few, but mostly we have not done that. Why haven't we done that? Prabhupada said to do it. Prabhupada, during his life, there was a movie made, right? I mentioned that before, The Spiritual Frontier. And I showed that movie to Prabhupada. I didn't make the movie. I bought a copy of the movie, and I happened to be passing from Dubai to Bombay to Hyderabad. This is 1976 August. And I was, 21 years old. He said, "Prabhupada, I have this movie. If you want, we can show these people." He said, "Yes." Yeah, he said, "Yes." And we showed it. And it was about New Vrindavan, Kirtanananda. There you can see this movie on YouTube, Spiritual Frontier. And the movie said, Prabhupada taught us to depend on Krishna and the cows. And Prabhupada wanted an agricultural community, food security. Financial security, of course, is for the urban temples. For a rural community, if you see how the people were living in India, they didn't build big houses, only the king had a big bungalow. Yeah, that was the system. Everyone lived simply. The Vaishyas, they might have had money. They were called Gupta. You know, this word Gupta means hide the money. Don't show the money. They lived simply. They didn't, there was a commercial on TV. Commercial advertisement. You've seen TV, right? They show some commercial. Maruti cars. What is it? Nirma washing powder. So there was a commercial, I'm talking 50 years ago, for an airline called Braniff Airlines. It died. Finished. So they painted their airplanes different colors, and they hired one famous artist, Salvador Dali. Never heard his name? He died a long time ago. He was an old man in the 1960s. Salvador Dali is flying on Braniff Airlines. And then they say, why? He said, if you've got it, flaunt it. What does that mean in Russian? You never tell them, but if you have it, show it off. Show that you're very rich and you're enjoying life. He understood? Okay. So, Vaishyas never were like that. Vaishyas didn't build big bungalows. Vaishyas lived in a simple house with 50 people. 50 people, they all lived together. It's called the extended family in English. I saw this in Hyderabad in 1970s. They all lived together in the same house. And so all the women had help cooking, looking after the children, Griha Dharma, Grihastha Dharma, Street Dharma. We could see all these things. Prabhupada came to Hyderabad in 75. This is before what I told earlier. So 10,000 people were coming to hear his lecture. And I can't remember which verses he lectured. I think he had Bhagavatam 6th canto just come out. But one thing I remember, he pleaded with the people, please don't give up your culture. So he didn't say, please come in Mangal Arati, please coming Guru Puja. Please attend the Bhagavatam class. No, he didn't say that. He said, please don't give up your culture with 10,000 people who are Hindus following Vedic culture. And Prabhupada told in Nellore, that was January 76, Vedic culture is more intact in South India. So at that time, in the 1970s, 90% of the people lived in the villages. And South India, the Muslim rule was less by comparison to North India. Actually, there were Muslim kingdoms when India got independence. Hyderabad was a Muslim kingdom, the Nizam of Hyderabad. And there were Nawabs in Tamil Nadu who were ruling certain places. In Junagadh, in Saurashtra, there was a Nawab. He signed the papers to join Pakistan. But it's in Gujarat. They couldn't join Pakistan. So there were Muslims ruling at the time of partition of India in different places. But the British allowed that. They were under the British. They were paying money to the British. So the British wanted to destroy Vedic culture and make everybody Christian. Yeah, in those days. Nowadays, they're begging from India for help. They have no money left, seems. The British are not so powerful now. But at that time, they were very powerful. And a few British were ruling the whole India. Yeah, for 200 years. Went on for 200 years. From the beginning of the, 17, 18, 19. Right. 17th century, 18th century, 19th century. Into 20th century. 1947, 20th century. 20th century Western population. So they did their best to destroy Vedic culture by spreading English culture. Prabhupada was the opposite. He wanted to spread Indian culture. But we couldn't spread the language. Yeah. At the time of partition of India, Indian independence time, there was a proposal Sanskrit should be the national language of India. Same time Israel became a state, and they had Hebrew became the national language, ancient language. And India's Sanskrit could have been a national language, but they made Hindi and English. So this was a poor judgment on the part of the political elite, the political leaders at the time. Now, practically English and the Western dress and Western, you don't see even a labor doesn't wear dhoti now. Everyone wore a dhoti at the time of Gandhi. There are pictures, right? Old movies at the time of Gandhi. It's 80 years ago now. No pant and shirt. Vedic culture. The 6 occupational duties of the Brahmanas. What did he? Yajana, Patana. He mentions in yesterday's verse. He also mentioned how the 6 Rupa and Sanatan were servants of the Muslim king in Bengal. So now how to re-establish Vedic culture? We cannot snap our fingers and, wave a magic wand and Vedic culture will be re-established. So it's a big struggle. Big struggle. Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada's God brothers, they brought a lot of people to Mayapur. and for the Parikrama. Villagers, thousands for Navadvip Parikrama. ISKCON is not the only now ISKCON Parikrama became very big. But the Gaudiya months have very big Parikramas. Huh? There were a lot of Vaishnavas in Bengal. In Bangladesh, there were a lot of Vaishnavas. Due to politics, partition of India, and fanatic Islamists driving Hindus out, many Hindus left Bangladesh, but not so many as left Pakistan. Pakistan and Punjab, hardly any Hindus. Sikhs are Hindus, by the way. They're not different from Hindus. But in Sindh, there are still many Hindus in Pakistan, in Sindh. And some of them are left alone and some are harassed. And they say it's more, the harassment is not by the Islamists as much as by dacoits. But a few days ago, in Afghanistan, there was a Sikh Gurudwara which was attacked, right? 28 people were killed. And there were 100 people praying in the Gurudwara. So they were killed by Islamic extremists. Everybody should become Muslim or die. That's the alternative. So Vedic religion is not like that. It's not Vedic religion. Prabhupada wanted preaching in Muslim countries. Actually, the Vedic culture is the oldest that we know. The other religions came much later. They're man-made, and according to the Vedas, it is the breathing of God. It came directly from the Lord. Aparoshaya, no human origin. So, we want to revive this. And Bhagavatam is a roadmap, right? You know, they say this roadmap, how you get from point A to point B. You need a roadmap in your hand. Now it's a telephone, GPS, right? What do they say in England? They don't say GPS. You know what they say? You know what they say? No? What do they say in England for GPS? Sat nav. What does it mean? Satellite navigation. Satellite navigation, sat nav. GPS, global positioning system. So people just say GPS. Somebody said to me, don't trust the MSN. What is MSN? Take a guess. You know. Photo show. Mainstream media. And you ever heard that before? MSN? No. Live and learn. Every day some new acronym. Mainstream media. So how to follow Varnashram, you see some devotees are saying it's nonsense. But here in the Bhagavatam there's a description how to follow it. Isn't it? This is the description. It's clearly a description. The mercantile community should always follow the directions of the Brahmanas. Simple. If you're a Vaishya, you should, but the Brahmana should be a real Brahmana, not a cheater who says, I am God, and you are God, we are all God. That's not a Brahmana. But one who's always absorbed in study of Shastras. Some of them are Mayavadis, that's true. But these cheaters who say, I'm God, and they don't study Vedic literature, you can be sure. And the Shudras, the only duty is to accept a master from a higher order to engage in his service. So that's done by salary now. Previously, there was no salary. Food, clothing, all the necessities were given, just like a family member, Prabhupada said. The servants were treated like family. When Rukmini was married, so many servants were sent. It's in the Bhagavatam. They were treated like family members, but they were servants. Their business was to serve. It's mentioned, this is how to follow Varnashram. The roadmap is given in this verse. We have to accept it. No, it's the caste system. It's going to mess up your life. Then why you came into ISKCON? Go somewhere else. Why you're here? If you don't want to follow the Bhagavatam. Very strange. Now we're not following perfectly. But we shouldn't condemn it. We may be weak. We may be lazy. Now the Yuga, everyone is lazy. Manda Sumanda Mataya. Manda Bhagya. They're unfortunate. What's going on now is unfortunate. That people get now, the Prime Minister of England is in the ICU. You heard that? Prime Minister of England is in the ICU. Right, intensive care unit. He'll probably be put on a ventilator to artificial breathing. Unfortunate. He came to India many times. You know that? No? Because his first wife, he came to the temple, but his first wife, it was half Indian. Her mother was a Sikh. So they used to bring the children on vacation to India lots of times. He knows what's Indian culture, even though he's not following Indian culture. That's the problem. That's the problem. Hare Krishna. Yeah, question.
I have a question regarding this. So, are there any particular adjustments that we make depending on the race and the culture? Because, see, when you're talking about Indians, you can see Indians are habituated to live in communities, live together. They cannot live in separately. But when we're talking about Western people, need some space, need some space apart of each other. If the big families take each other, they kill each other. That's what happens. A lot of times. So they cannot stand, people cannot stand.
It's due to a lack of Vedic culture. See, if we follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we don't, Amanina Manani, don't expect any respect, and just give respect to others, then you live very simply life. But if you tolerate, Srinavati, Sunichena, feel yourself lower than the grass and more tolerant than a tree. We don't follow that. We recite it. Just like the 10 offenses. Mostly they recite Shikshastikam, they don't read Gita. They recite 10 offenses really quickly. And nobody follows that. Inattentive chanting. Everyone's chanting is inattentive. Yeah, me too. So, there was a businessman from Kakinada. You ever heard of Kakinada? You've heard of it. You heard of it? No? Andhra Pradesh. Near Rajamandri, 30 kilometers from Rajamandri. He got initiated by Prabhupada in Hyderabad. He was a life member. I made him a life member, as I recall. And he became so interested. And he just, after some years, he gave up his family life. He came and he lived in Vrindavan with Prabhupada's godbrother, Bhakti Maimapuri Maharaj. And every day he would do Vrindavan Parikrama. He never talked to anybody. And he lived the rest of his life there and he died. So there are people. Their only business is to chant and hear and, go back home, back to Dhamma. Rare soul. Rare soul. He was living very simply. He, as a businessman, was a rich man. Big house, nice wife, nice son got initiated by Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. He became a doctor, I think, his son. And he didn't have any attachment for all that. He came to live in the ashram, ate very simple food. He shared a room with some other devotees. He was just chanting all the time. Some people are there. Yeah, we have been trained wrongly from the childhood. Bad sanskaras, bad training were given. Malechas and yamas, we were trained to eat meat and drink alcohol. If I wanted to drink beer, my mother would go and purchase the beer. I was too young because I joined ISKCON when I was 17. When I was 17, I joined ISKCON. Then I didn't drink beer after that. Oh, once or twice I had that non-alcoholic. It's terrible. Don't drink that. There is a little alcohol. You won't get intoxicated, but tastes tastes terrible. I was surprised who gave me that. I won't mention his name. That was a long time ago, 1991, in the United States. And, some devotees drink that stuff. Non-alcoholic beer. Well, there was a Prabhupada today. Every day they have an email coming. Have you seen that? Prabhupada today? You haven't seen that, no? So there was one, Prabhupada was in the airplane, and they're serving what would you like to drink? 7-Up? Okay. And Prabhupada had the 7-Up. And then he looked later on at the can of 7-Up, and it says carbonated water, lemon flavor. Oh, very good. Nothing wrong with that. So that Prabhupada gave his endorsement, to 7-Up. I asked Satsvarup, Prabhupada was in Bombay in February 74, and Satsvarup Maharaj was his secretary and servant both. There was no servant, there was a gap between Shruti Kirti and Harishori. So I asked him, I said, Prabhupada, does Prabhupada drink Linka? And Satsvarup got angry. He said, yes, but not for his sense gratification. I will tell you what. Yes, but not for his yeah, but I said, yeah. But not for his sense gratification. But if you're in the material body and you have senses, everything is sense gratification. Even if you drink a little water, it's sense gratification. So Haridas Thakur didn't take anything except a little buttermilk. Shukadev just took a little milk but we cannot do that. We're not on that level. And if you can do it, great. You'll get liberation. Prabhupada said if you remain brahmachari, you'll get liberation. So I know I'm not getting liberation. But if you can remain brahmachari, he's not a brahmachari. He's a vanaprastha. Bhishma is a vanaprastha. He has a family and children. So Saffron is, in his case, vanaprastha. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just there's a distinction between brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. That's varnashram. If you accept someone as a sannyasi, then you accept varnashram. And if somebody, if you say, I don't accept varnashram, then you don't accept. Why do you respect him as a sannyasi then? You don't accept varnashram, it's nonsense. You're messing up your life. Then you shouldn't show respect to sannyasis. That's the mentality is like that.
It's like we accept everybody's class. We cannot afford everything.
Right, we can't.
So
we don't.
It's the same thing, but
to say that varnashram will destroy your life,
no, I mean,
mess up your life.
the Western people, they're just coming from this background. They just chant Hare Krishna and not just live in commune and just
Chant Hare
bury ourselves in the
Krishna
ground.
and eat Simply Wonderfuls. You know Simply Wonderful, right? Powdered milk, powdered sugar and butter. Laddus. I remember distributing those Simply Wonderfuls at Detroit Rally after 1973. That's all we did. We would give people sweets. Have a Simply Wonderful. What is this? Simply Wonderful. What can you do? In Africa, Prabhupada went to Kenya, distribute prasad. Distribute prasad. Then there was a Bangladesh war, and the people, refugees were coming. Mayapur was full of refugees. Nobody should go hungry within 10 kilometers. It wasn't a statement for every day for all Islam temples. It was time and circumstance. Bangladesh war. A lot of refugees, Prabhupada, these poor people were driven out by force. And so, feed them prasad. So that's what's going on now. That was the main, well, not main, that was yesterday, how much prasad was being distributed. But they don't say it's prasad. The government won't give us support. Food for life. And food for life, Prabhupada didn't give this food relief, not food for life. Mukunda Maharaj started that food for life. By the way, there was no food for life at the time of Prabhupada. But there was prasadam distribution to the, at the time of the Bangladesh war. And whoever comes to the temple should get prasad. In Tirupati they do that. It started late. They got, I think, some inspiration from this stuff. That everybody who comes to the temple should have a free meal. The temple has enough money. Tirupati has the most money. So they give a coupon and you go to that place and you can sit down and have a meal and go away. And they give prasad in the temple also.
Actually, for years there was no coupon. You just go there and no coupon. Yeah.
There's no coupon now.
Coupon is just for laddu. If you want to get sweet,
laddu,
if you want to take full meal, you can go.
Anybody can go. There was a time when
times you want.
Right. Only
coconut chutney.
They give coconut chutney also. Buttermilk, like water. I remember going in a hotel and eating in 1977 in Vellore, where there's a temple now. 2 big cups of rice, sambar, rasam, and buttermilk that was like water. 2 rupees. 2 rupees. Full meal.
$1.
8 rupees. 9 rupees. Idli was 10 paisa on the road from Hyderabad to Tirupati in 74. 10 paisa. Then Gargamuni came in his car, ambassador car. Nobody had those cars. None of the temples in India had the cars. So Gargamuni came from Calcutta to Hyderabad. And he took us to the hotel to have idlis, and 2 idlis were 3 rupees. 3 rupees for 2 idlis. So expensive. It was 10 paisa on the highway. Of course, we never would go out and eat anyway. People would serve in their homes idlis. And when we would go traveling. And the coconut chutney and the idli in that, I still remember that from 1976. So tasty, so soft. Annapurna Hotel. Never went back. One time in my life. Oh, Hare Krishna. So there's a roadmap for Varnashram. Right here in today's verse. We want to follow it. Without Kshatriyas, there won't be a society following. Because Kshatriyas are the ones who make sure everybody follows or get whacked with the stick. Just like now, you go out and the police give you a whack with the stick, what can you do? They beat the people like anything. Yeah.
So even many times the Kshatriyas control Brahmanas. They could take it.
No, Brahmanas they couldn't. Brahmanas were exempt.
But Kshatriyas could tell if it's a big Brahmana, they could punish him.
Yes, just like Bhakti Vinod put that sadhu in prison. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a magistrate. And there was someone pretending to be God, right? And he ordered him to be locked up. And he lost all his power. So yeah, a pretender, they wouldn't allow, this, what's going on now. Invented gods and all that. This Baba and that Baba. You know what I mean? Any other question? No? Tired? Okay. Get ready for the big feast. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.